I should have been suspicious when Logan said it was a routine job. It wasn't that there were no routine jobs, only that Logan lied routinely. He was a short man with toed lips and a head that was bald and blotched except for a small tuft of dark hair just above his forehead. Always sitting behind his desk made him appear even shorter. "Get out to 27th Avenue. Know where it is?" He knew I did. I was one of the few people who had actually been born in Phoenix. I tamped out my lucky strike in the big ashtray on his desk. It just feels out there. "Yeah, well, they found a foot at milepost 903. That sounded pretty routine. People fell under trains and lost things. It had been a lot worse a few years ago during the Depression with all the bums and alky stiffs. "The Golden State will drop you off." My suspicion made me light up another cigarette. The Golden State Limited is going to slow down to let a bull get off 2 miles from here? He pulled the cigar from his mouth. A string of saliva kept it tethered to his fat lips. "Bull. I hate that shit. You're a special agent for the Southern Pacific Railroad. Have some pride." I took a drag and drew it down to my shoelaces. I walked to my desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out my Colt 45 automatic, taking my time about slipping on the shoulder holster and replacing the jacket. "Go, you son of a bitch!" he hollered, spitting tiny tobacco leaves across the room. At the door I heard his voice again. "And be on good behavior for a change. Got it?" I got it all right. I took the back stairs out of Union Station, avoiding the mob of young guys in uniform in the waiting room. I crossed the brickwork of the platform and made it to one of the dark green Pullmans on the Golden State just as the whistle screamed highball and the big wheels under the car started moving. I flashed my badge at the conductor and he let me on, giving me a vinegar look. He didn't want to be slowing down for any damned bull. I let him brush past me and I stayed in the vestibule. It wouldn't be a long ride. The town passed by out the door. Over the red tile roof of the Spanish-style station, the Lures Tower marked downtown. If I turned the other way, I could have seen the shacks and outhouses south of the tracks. Warehouses and freight cars gradually gave way to open track. 5 minutes later, I dropped off the train into the rocky ballast and found my footing. The air tasted like dust and locomotive oil. There wasn't much out here, the single main line that ran through the desert to Yuma and Los Angeles, a few Mexican houses, the Jewish cemetery. Then there were the fields, regimented rows of green with lettuce, cabbage, and alfalfa running out along the table-flat ground until it met the mountains and the sky. Stands of cottonwood bordered the irrigation canals where I used to swim on the oveny summer days. Now, in January, the air was dry and cool and familiar. I couldn't believe it was already 1943. The town was changing. It had slept through the Depression like a kid in a fever dream, but the new war had brought Air Corps training bases, a new aluminum plant a ways from town, a camp for Kraut POWs, and endless streams of troop trains. Patton had trained his tank corps down by Hyder. The paper said Phoenix's population was now an unbelievable 65,000. Out here, Van Buren petered down into a 2-lane road, concreted over by the WPA. I could see somebody had gotten past the shortages and rationing to throw up some temporary housing a little north of the tracks. Ratty little one-story jobs made of cinder blocks. They would probably tear it all down once the war ended.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.